Hi, everyone. Kelly here, and today I have Jarod from Jarod Gallenstein's Trumpet Studio. We're going to be talking about how Jarod grew his trumpet studio and became a full-time musician, which was the big goal when we set out. So very exciting to be here. Jarod, before we go any further, I would love to just have you introduce yourself in the studio a little bit. Maybe talk about your ideal student and the studio setup that you have so far.
Well, thanks, Kelly. It's great to be here. So yeah, like you said, my name is Jarod Gallenstein. I finished up my master's at the University of Cincinnati CCM in 2025. Yes, yeah, 25. I should double check that. But anyway, and then was just like most of us trying to do the thing. I've always kind of said I wanted the professional orchestra career. Those are few and far between and hard to get. So teaching always like I always did it. Back in high school. Oh, hi Jasper. Um, it's my cat. He so I started teaching in like senior year of high school. I was like kind of like doing the sitting in and helping the seventh grade band and stuff. Got a couple kids there and just kind of off and on did it, but never made it the full time thing. Didn't go into education because I just knew I didn't want to do the admin side of band directing and all that. Um, but yeah, so I discovered outside the box and you on Instagram and saw some of the things, and they were like, "Oh, that makes a lot of
Mm.
sense. I should do that." Um, and I kind of worked. I got a handful of kids. I was doing the thing, reaching out to schools and all that. Probably about a year before we started really talking, or maybe 6 months, kind of at the end of the degree. And I got a couple, but I didn't really have the luck that I was hoping for. So a couple months went by. I kept seeing it, and one of my very good friends, Anna, also has a testimonial on the channel somewhere. Um, Talked about how helpful it was, so I decided to just kind of bite the bullet, invest in myself, and do the thing. And now we're here. I've got
Yeah, it's been a
teaching
whirlwind.
20 something hours a week. I've got basically a full time income, and yeah, I got to quit the restaurant industry, so now I just know I don't want to go back.
Mm,
So we're
yeah.
gonna just keep rolling.
Oh my gosh. Which, by the way, I want to pause for a second because that was a very recent development.
It
Like
was.
officially leaving the restaurant job, which I remember in our very first conversation, you're like, this would be like, you're like, I love the people that I work with. It's no shade, obviously, to the job that I have and the company and the business that I work for, but it's just not music. And the
Yeah.
dream would be to be a full-time musician. And right before we hit record, Jarod told me that
Yeah.
that had just happened because it's been a couple weeks since we touched base last.
Yeah.
So excited for you,
Yeah.
so proud of you. Like
Thank
to
you. Thank you.
see all of the goals that we set out in those initial conversations come to fruition is just unbelievably exciting. Like we've made it.
Yeah, we made it.
We're doing the dang thing. It's
Yeah.
happening.
So I'm 29 and I've been in and out of the industry since I was 14, 12 if you count washing dishes after a baseball practice. So I'm a little ready to move on.
Yeah,
And
fair
I get
enough.
to. I'm
Yeah.
doing the thing.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's talk a little bit about that journey and how we made
Mhm.
it happen. Because I know that we've learned a lot along the way and a lot has happened in the last few months. So exciting to kind of give a little highlight reel. Let's back up to the very beginning of our work together. Like you said, you've been kind of picking some things up off of social media and learning from other folks and just trying to piecemeal some things together. Where were the biggest frustrations at that point? Because you were making progress, things were happening, but where did we feel stuck the most?
Yeah. So I couldn't tell you the video or exact timeline. Probably early springtime at the tail end of my master, like that last semester. Um, was when I really started seeing you on the Discover page or whatever a lot, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do that. So like, I made a tracker chart. I was like, I get this,
Yeah.
and I reach out to all the schools. I did basically all of the things I did later, but it just I wasn't getting the responses. I got a couple um, from people who I already like intimately knew from school, but I just wasn't hearing back from anywhere or like landing any leads or anything.
Yeah.
So I just was a little more confused. I'm like, okay, I think I'm doing it right, but it's just not landing. So what am I missing? Like,
Mm,
and that was kind of the okay, something kind of like when you go back to school.
yeah.
I don't have something. What is it? Let's get some tools to figure that out.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we were doing that research, and I remember in our first couple conversations, like being excited that you were doing the outreach because it's scary, I think, at
Mm-hmm.
first to start emailing band directors and trying to make those introductions and try to get some traction there. So I was so excited that that was happening already. It's easier for us to refine than it is to start fresh sometimes because we have to like talk ourselves into getting outside of our comfort zone and trying that new thing. But I think a lot of it was just, as we talked in the very beginning, little tweaks and refinements to the process is really where we saw the most growth. So we tweaked a little bit of what was in the email copy and the approach, also like follow up strategy and timeline and who we were reaching out to and how we were prioritizing that. And we started to build some really solid relationships. So, talk a little bit about the school visit process because that's where we spent most of our time, energy, and focus. What worked really well? What was the experience of going into classrooms and how has that led to students for you?
Yeah. So if I remember my timeline right, I tried it. Oh yeah. So I graduated in 24. There we go. Timelines. It all blurs together. Graduated in 24. Was trying to do the thing. I had a couple students. 25, kind of February, March, this time comes around, and I decide to go all in. And beginning of it might have been like a week or two from now, like a year ago now.
I think we're almost
Um,
at exactly a
yeah, I
year
think
from,
we're like
which is
right
wild.
about it, which is crazy. But I reached out, and you were like, okay, this is a great time to do the thing. So you were kind enough, you flipped around the like kind of work plan that gets
Hmm.
organized for the clients to focus on the school outreach first rather than the social media stuff, um, which is good for me. We'll talk about that later. But so it was just okay, collect all of the things, organize it differently, and then just send. And like the follow up part of it was, I think, a large part of what I was missing because I had so many that like responded like, "Oh, thanks for following up. I saw this. I'm totally interested." Band directing, um, so that part was huge. And then I think there was a solid 2 week span where I was in a different school like every other day almost. It was
Which,
quite.
if we look back on the year previous, when you were, or the year prior, when you were feeling stuck and you weren't getting responses, and then
Mhm.
all of a sudden we start getting all this attention, you're like, oh my God, people are interested. There is a demand here. Like, I was worried that there were just too many trumpet teachers in the area and
Yes.
no one wanted to work with me because there were too many of us. And
Mhm.
obviously that wasn't the case. But to your point, the follow up is helpful. Like, I know we don't want to bug people, and we don't. That's not the objective. But
No.
it is supportive because people are swamped, especially our band director
Yeah.
friends, man. Like, that is a wild job. They're
Yeah.
so busy.
Yeah. I don't want to. My fiance is a music teacher, and she has enough emails, and she's general music. So I
Yep.
can't imagine band directors. That's
Yep.
just too much for me.
And so now you're going into these programs in that 2 week span. You start kicking things off. There's a whole bunch of visits on the calendar. What are you doing in some of those school visits? Let's like give a little preview of what that looks like because I know if it's out of someone's comfort zone, this might be really helpful to just hear what it looks like. You know?
Yeah. So for me, and we're all different. It was pretty comfy. I've been teching marching bands since I think my first summer after freshman year in college. So I was kind of used to just like, okay, hi kids, we're gonna start working now. Um, So basically, some of them did want me to work with like the whole band. Some of them, I did a lot of sectionals. Did a lot of sectionals. Both are fun. I always like getting up on the podium, getting to use the waving stick that I bought for 2 classes in college and never use again. Um, I brought it to some sectionals yesterday actually, just because I get it out of the case. But yeah, so I did a lot of those, and everyone was so like thankful for like thinking of their program. And I talked to one of the what you say like specialists that are in the program. Chaz, I was on. every call he had for like the first month. And he kind of brought to my attention, like, really reach out to the middle school directors because they are less busy in a way
Mm,
because they're not the high school. They don't have to deal with marching band
yeah,
because that is somehow a year long, like an all year
especially
endeavor.
in your area. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's insane.
Hmm.
So those are the ones that actually responded the most were the middle schools, and they're like, "Oh yeah, thanks so much for reaching out." Like nobody really ever thinks for
Mm,
that, and that was so fun because like you come in, you say some jokes, you act a little bit crazier than the band director, and you have a good time. You hope that they sound better. You play some high, loud Star Wars for them, and they're like, you know, yeah. So it was a good time. They're fond memories. I had a lot of fun with a lot of those.
well, and I think the big takeaway too is you're mentioning is like just getting those quick wins. Like you don't have to put pressure on yourself to change someone's playing in an hour long visit. It doesn't be that intensive. The band directors are thrilled to have any support, especially if they themselves are not a brass specialist or they're not a trumpet player specifically, then any coaching that you can give students is helpful. And even the teachers who are trumpet players, like sometimes they've told their students the same five things over and over again to improve tone production, and it hasn't made an impact, or it's now like because it's the same wording or the same tricks all the time,
Hmm.
it's not landing. And
Yeah.
just someone saying the same thing in a slightly different way can just unlock so
Yeah.
quickly in their brains a new opportunity or some really quick growth. And those little fast wins are fun. Like the kids are
Yeah.
excited, they have a great time, the band directors are thrilled. It's just fun to see a really immediate transformation when we
Yeah.
can make that happen.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. At the time, I was very in on one of my teachers, Ashley Hall-Ty, fantastic coach and musician. Follow her on social media. She's great. But her approach to like playing and stuff is so not what your beginning band, middle school band director says. So I was like, okay, don't do that. Try this. It's gonna sound insane, And this is just that like, let's just bite the bullet and like go and like just try it. Just see what happens. Like throw the weird at you. Maybe it worked, and it did a lot. I had a lot of questions from band directors like, "Well, how that's not what I've ever been told." I'm like, I know, but it worked. I've
Yeah.
developed and like realized, oh wait, there's more to it. But anyway, yeah, that's all
Yeah.
pedagogy
Well,
stuff.
and when you can give that again, like that little quick win or just a sliver of new information to students, like they are curious. The fun thing I think about middle school and high school band orchestra choir classes is that students are opting in to be there, right? Like they like music, they enjoy playing their instrument, on some level. And there's varying degrees of interest, of course, especially at the middle school level. But they're happy to be there and they do want to learn and they want to improve. And so you're working with kids who like they're not there to judge you as a player or as a teacher. Like they just want to soak up all the information they possibly can get to make
True.
improvements. And so it's a fun environment to be in. It's easy for it to feel uncomfortable because you're thinking like, what if I don't have any value to offer? Or, is the band director going to judge me? Like, no, they're just so happy that you're there, like that they have support and that they know that section's well taken care of, so they can support a different section today in rehearsal. It's a really great, very positive environment to be in. It sounds like you had the same experience. I know a lot of the students that you enjoy working with tend to be a little bit more on the advanced level. And so the approach in the last few months has really been work on building those relationships with middle school programs to build up those advanced players over time and like help students who are driven, who have a desire to learn, who want to be improving, to understand what their long-term goals could look like and to start helping them reach them a little bit faster.
You
The referrals
mentioned,
from the schools have been primarily where your students are coming from. Yes.
um, yeah, almost exclusively actually for me, but
Yeah.
that's largely due to that's where about 90% of my focus went.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mentioned earlier that like starting with that was really good for me because it is what I was comfortable with. A large part of the program is the social media marketing, for lack of a better
Hmm.
term. Um, I was so bad at it. I'm sure my copies was great, and like the team like put together beautiful flyers for me. It was fantastic. I had everything I could have possibly needed, but I cannot stand posting or talking about myself on Facebook. Can't do it. I will try harder this year, but like homeschool groups, one of my Anna, my good friend, has many students. I know some of the clients as well have that's almost their entire studios homeschools, and like the social media side of that is incredible for getting those. But I won't say dropped the ball, but I kind of dropped the ball on that part of it. So that's the only reason I probably don't have any of like that side of it, like from the
But
referrals. But I got a few. I did have a few.
yeah. And also, that's okay. Like, I love, and I'm so glad that you mentioned this too, because marketing, and obviously our approach to marketing is, very well, but just for the benefit of anyone else that's listening, we look at this as a bunch of different levers that we get to pull. And it's a different combination of levers for everybody, right? Like, depending on your location, your ideal student, the instrument that you teach, the age and genres of focus that you want to be emphasizing even more in your teaching. And then also, to your point, just general comfort, like what feels the most aligned and what doesn't. And really good marketing should reflect real life. So if it's something that feels misaligned or inauthentic to you, then it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for us to lean into it and make it our entire output and goal, because we have to keep refining and repurposing and reworking and strategizing over and over again. And if it never felt aligned in the first place, then continuing to refine is going to feel not fun.
Yeah.
Right. Like, there's a difference in like, I'm interested in social media and I want to do this. And also I just need to build some comfort around it and practice it like anything else. And it's just not aligned for me, period. And I think pretty early on we knew that was the case. So we put our energy elsewhere. And that's the whole point, right? What we did instead was lean into an area that you are very comfortable, that you really enjoy. I mean, as you're talking about being in front of the middle school students, like, you're just lit up. Like, you obviously love working with these programs. You love working with the sectionals and supporting them. If that's your jam, then that's your jam. That's what we lean into even harder.
Yeah, definitely. And like, I think a large part of why that kind of alignment works for me is like in the email structure, like the copy that the tool, the Google Drive is incredible. I'll ask a question knowing it's in there, but just so I don't have to filter through the probably hundreds of documents of just this is helpful copy that you can not
yeah, there's a
steal
lot going
because
on in
copy
there.
it's great. But anyway, I digress. Going with like the school visits and stuff feels so much more. I think I picked up the term from Chris Still,
Yeah.
another fantastic social media and musician, entrepreneur, all the things. He talks a lot about leading with service. And that's what like all of that copy is. How can I help you? And at least how my brain interprets the social media stuff is more like, hey, come buy my thing because I'm so great, And like, that's not where my copy like went,
Yeah.
but it feels so much more like salesy than like helping. And like it just, yeah, that's kind of, I think, why for me at least it felt a lot better to like just do the visits, because
Mm-hmm.
I got paid for a couple of them, but like I never asked to be. They were always like, no, I'll make sure, like you came, you bubble, So, and yeah, that's kind of why that way just worked better for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, and some people just like aren't comfortable on social media, period, and that's okay too. Just like totally fine. I get it. It's all good. Well, and I'm glad that the school visits were something that we leaned into so early, because we had the benefit and the timing that you got to do a bunch of visits in spring, and then you got to return to a lot of those schools the following fall, and that was where we really started to see things take off.
Yes.
Was we were coming out of marching band season. You had now these really strong repeat visit relationships with programs where they had seen you teach several times. So there's a lot of trust in the work that you're doing, right? You are supporting them, like you said, leading with service and volunteering in those programs. And now the students know who you are, and they're comfortable with you too. And so referring and being interested in lessons feels so much more comfortable. And the growth happened really quickly this fall once we hit our stride there and we had those relationships established. Talk a little bit about the referral process and then enrolling students from that. When a student comes to you from a school referral versus some of the other sources that we have picked up students from, does it feel easier? Like, are these students that you've had contact with before? What is kind of the benefit on the actual enrollment process for these visits?
it definitely it feels easier a little bit, I think, because usually a lot of those usually I'll get an email, it'll be, I'm interested in getting my child trumpet lessons. What are blah 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 question, standard questions. Um, Always, because there are so many scams out there. You will discover the that email looks just wrong enough to definitely not be right. But uh
I want 3 lessons a week for 5 hours, and I'll pay cash, and I'll
yeah,
pay you in advance. Oh my, yeah, yeah.
and my
What you're
students,
saying?
and I just moved from Canada, and
Yeah.
welcome, like, all it's like,
We're only
this
here for a
can't be,
month. Yeah.
yeah, this can't
Okay.
be real. But anyway, there's that level of kind of assumed trust because they usually have heard about me, like, from the band director.
Yeah.
So they kind of already are a little bought in of like, okay, well, this person trusts them, that must be fine. We'll, that'll work out. Um, so usually, with where most of my students are, I have crammed them into a day or two at one school or two schools, like, on the same day. So I'm probably gonna just take them almost regardless. But set up a little call. It's usually, I've gotten it down to about 15 minutes. It's great. It's a science. Um, and we just chat a little bit, get to know each other, go over all the policies and stuff. And it's usually pretty spick and spam. I think it's spam. Um, anyway, um,
But it
yeah,
feels
like,
like a smooth
yeah,
process.
it
Like they
feels,
already
yeah,
know they want to work with you. You know that if the band director's referring them to you, that they also think it's going to be a good fit. And it feels like it's pretty easy,
yeah,
right?
definitely, yes. Where most of my students have come from has been just pretty much okay, yeah, we're all good this time. Okay, we probably could have just done this over an email, but like, it's nice to have, like, met each other face to face
Yeah.
and all that. So
Good. I'm glad to hear that the enrollment process is so smooth. And that also, again, to your point earlier, that's the whole point in leading with service is that there is a lot more trust and a lot more relationship there already too. Let's pivot a little bit. So the studio has grown, which is of course amazing. We're very, very excited about it. But the studio growth has impacted other areas of our life. So we mentioned earlier we left the restaurant job, which is so
we did, yeah.
exciting.
Oh,
How do
yes.
you feel like life in general as a musician and just also as a human being has changed or improved over the last few months as the studio has taken off?
Just because of how things worked out for me, I'm driving a lot.
Yeah.
I am so glad that when my old car broke down, I got a nice little 2019 Civic. Thing gets almost 40 miles a gallon. It's great.
Very fuel efficient. We love
It
it.
does smell like UDF breakfast sandwiches. We just deal with that. But it's good. I have sometimes very long days, but I'm even after, like, a full, like, school day of teaching, and then, like, all of the practice and stuff afterward, and life, I think I'm less emotionally tired than after one, like, industry shift.
Yeah.
It feels, it's more rewarding. It's what I spent all the school money on to do.
Yep.
Um, and I think even the rough days of, like, this are better than not doing it, for sure.
Yeah. Well, and
So
I want to clarify too, if everyone's listening, like, wait a second, school day teaching. You built these relationships with the school programs, and a lot of them are actually allowing you to teach students during the school day, like pulling students out of band and coming and spending a couple hours there out of study halls.
mhm.
So that you're not even teaching late into the evening, which has been nice too
Yeah.
for audition
So,
prep and gigs and all that fun stuff.
yeah, so Monday to Friday, actually Saturday now too. My evenings are completely free unless I have to do, like, makeups or
Yeah.
something. Pretty much all my students, except for three, are during the school day, um, and it's great. It's great. Like, I get evenings I can actually meal prep. Um, I can do the gym thing, do the practice thing, all the
Yeah.
stuff.
Spend time with family, hang out with
Hmm.
the cat.
Yeah, who
Yeah,
is
important
behaving,
things.
thankfully.
Made an early appearance. I
He
love
did.
it.
He did. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. If we go back to this time last year, as we were kind of gearing up for the studio and knowing that it was time to kind of lock in, as you were hinting at before, what what made outside the box the right fit? I feel like you touched on this a little bit already, but what made
Mhm.
outside the box the right fit for you? How you decide to take that leap? And then I think even more importantly, at that point in time, what information do you know now that would have been helpful for you in making that decision at that point in time?
Okay.
That was a
I
lot.
It's okay. Yeah, yeah, I got it. Totally can answer all of these questions seamlessly. What made outside the box the right fit for me was that it felt more. It never seemed or was like pitched as a I have the secrets. This is good. You're going to make millions of dollars
Mm.
in 3 months. It was we're going to teach you how to make it happen. And I I know now that like I'm still very much pursuing like the full time orchestra career. Not all of those, unfortunately, are in the like incredible like salary ranges. There
Sure.
are, and like they're all the jobs are they're out there and they're great and they're wonderful. But there also aren't 100 of those around where I live. There's a few, but if and hopefully when I do have to move for one of those, I just have so many more skills now that I can
Mm.
just do and like keep making the full income wherever I end up or things. I feel like I have more skills that if I wanted to make this like the real full time, like this is the sole thing, I think I could probably hire some other teachers and stuff at some point and like just know
Mhm.
how to like scale it up more if I wanted to. What made it the right fit, other than that, is just how many people had like success in their own ways. Like they had their success. It wasn't like I watched a number of testimonial videos and stuff, and none of them were the same. Like everybody had done it in their way and like made things their own, and that was kind of what I wanted. I wanted to have that like ownership of okay, I'm gonna make this happen how I want this to happen. Let's see. Is there a third part? I think that was it.
And what do you wish you'd known back
What do I
then?
wish I'd known? Seamless. Um, I wish I knew at the time. Um, Probably one of the things in the like timeline kind of work plan that gets built for you is connecting with local like other like private teachers. I just didn't do that. Like I tried.
Mm.
I tried once, and like I was friends with one or two, and I just did not connect with like the trumpet teachers around, and I totally should have. If nothing else, just for more friends in town. Um, but I feel like that could have been a big thing, and I think going forward, now that I don't have that crutch of I'll just get another restaurant job, it's fine. No, I'm gonna not go back. I can't.
Mm.
I just don't want to. But I think that's going to be a bigger part of like the next 6 months is like connecting with more of them and building those relationships to get like just bigger community in it all. If nothing
Yeah.
else.
It's been so fun to see this growth happen over the last year because, as you mentioned before, we already had a good foundation. You were doing a lot of the right quote unquote things and doing a lot of that work independently and seeing some of the honestly kind of minuscule tweaks that we made along the way make such a huge difference in the studio right now. And we're talking, it hasn't been quite a year, but we're coming up on it since our very, very first conversations. Um, by the middle of the fall semester, we're at like 25, 26 students, and this
Give or
is
take,
the
yeah.
this is the main gig. I mean, wild to see that happen so quickly, especially for trumpet studios. We kind of have joked about before too, like single instrument woodwind and brass teachers, different ball game than like beginning piano when 5-year-olds, pretty much all of them could potentially be a fit. Really cool to see the growth happen. It's also really cool to see the difference in how you're describing your music career. Like when we were talking before we recorded, and you're obviously very excited about being in music full time now and not working in the restaurant industry. Just the confidence in that, and knowing that like you've made this investment in your education and all the practice that you've done, and in some ways you've kind of like made it. in the industry a little bit now, and just the confidence you have when talking about the studio and the teaching is unbelievably exciting to see. Like, that's obviously supporting ourselves financially is one thing, working with our students that we love is another. Just being fulfilled by our work and feeling like the work that we've done is paying off is peak. It's incredible. So I'm so proud of you. I'm
Thank
so
you.
excited for you. You know, you guys have a wedding to plan. I know we've got a lot going on
Yeah,
right now too.
yeah,
So incredible to like grow a business in the middle of all of that
yeah,
and make
yeah,
it happen.
yeah.
It's so
Totally.
exciting to see.
Great choices. Great choices.
But you know what's wild is like that was an extra motivation. Like it absolutely helped make it happen.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. You can't. Well, I mean, you could do a cheap wedding. You can and definitely do. But
Man, they're expensive.
oh yeah, we have a small one, and it's still just oh jeez.
Yeah. Yep.
Um,
But what's fun about that too is like you're also, as a small business owner yourself, you're like, you know what? Yeah, it's not cheap, but it's fun to support other small local businesses and, you know, be part of the local economy. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation for another time. Very excited for you. So, so pumped about all the growth. So glad we have a kitty visitor too. I really appreciate you sharing the journey and just the insights that you've gained over the last year. Kind of final parting thought, if someone is curious about what you do and they want to find out about you online and look a little bit more at the studio, where could they find you?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Oh gosh, I've done something wrong. I'm gonna go back. Okay. I was trying to make sure I actually knew the name of my website. It's just Jarod Gallenstein Trumpet AG Trumpet. Facebook is my name. It's on the screen. Um, you can find me. Yeah, I'm in Cincinnati. I'm around. If you want to connect, shoot me a message. Don't make it look like spam. No, of course. Yeah, it's great.
Love it. Love it. Being a really good musical citizen in the local community is the whole point. So if anyone else is in the area, Jared's a great contact. Thank you so much again for sharing all your thoughts. I really appreciate it. This has been a lot of fun.